Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan.
Beautiful. Docile tones. Is that a word?
No, you say docile all the time. It's dulcet.
Dulcet.
Docile is kind of like, well, maybe they are docile tones. Maybe you do actually mean what that word means, which
probably
is kind of lazy.
Oh,
lazy,
lazy.
kind of
That's very
lethargic, kind
docile. Of. Oh yeah. What's the tone version?
Dulcet.
Dulcet.
I don't
dulcet
actually. He's dulcet tones. I don't know. Is it kind of like a sexy word or something like that? I'd have to. I'd have to Google it, Noelle, but my computer is too far away from me. It's over there. And ladies and gentlemen of the podcast, this podcast is being recorded live on TikTok. Hello, everybody on TikTok. So we just went live this morning. Noelle's idea. She said, "Why don't we go live on TikTok?" Because I've been eating my dinners on TikTok,
as you do,
and
as that happens in the O'Sullivan household.
It happens. People are trying to trying to join the live here now. Sorry, guys, I already have a guest. On today's podcast, and it's the beautiful Queen herself.
Beautiful, beautiful.
There she is. She's gorgeous. Noelle Patricia Nimaraku, aka the wife. But yeah, what was I saying?
You were just introducing yourself.
Just introduced myself. Yeah, I like a long intro. It's been a mainstay of the podcast, and I checked it out as well. It's 3 years. We're at it now. 3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
Why?
So there we are.
Long 3 years.
It's been a long time, everybody. We've already done a Patreon podcast this morning.
We did.
And just finished it actually about maybe a half an hour ago. And we have a new patron as well. So thank you very much. New patron on board from last week. And we did the Patreon podcast, and that was mostly about the couch to 5K, where we're kind of documenting the journey on that.
The journey. So I suppose it's 2024. It's mid-January on 2024. And what is the world talking about but goal setting? So I suppose we are kind of defined in our health and fitness goals. We know we want to do a couch to 5K and we want to eat better. But I suppose where we're haven't figured out, and that's okay too, is the business that is the O'Sullivan family. What are those goals? Last year, 2023, would have been a different January goal setting, and a different January anyway, because I was working and Connie was doing his comedy, and they were very separate avenues, separate businesses as such. And Connie would pick his goals in the January, and then, I might half hear them, half listen in the kitchen with the kids, and Connie, trying to get my attention to talk to me about them.
She would never listen. Like she's not. You're not. I suppose you wouldn't be a listener, really. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, if I had to categorize you, I'd say she doesn't listen to a word I say. But go on anyway. Yeah.
But yeah. So this year's very much different. I would have done my goals in work, and they would have been just the standard goals you'd set every year in a
what kind of a job
business.
for we've got a good few new listeners to the podcast in the last month, really.
Right. Okay.
So you, just to refresh people's memory, right? I'm speaking right now to the Queen, aka Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan Nimaraku, my wife. Okay, and we've two small boys, one with special needs on the spectrum, Harvey John, our childminder of 2.5 years, left kind of suddenly, but
6 years.
6 years, sorry, did I say 2.5 years? I don't know why I said that. 6 years left suddenly, but on great terms, and we love her, and rightly so, and then we had to make the decision are we going to get a new childminder? We tried that initially.
We did, yeah. And I suppose because I was working shift, it made it more difficult. So I was working 2 days, 2 nights, 4 days off. So we needed somebody who would be here 24/7 really on the days that I was working. So we needed them 4 full days and then off for 4. And I suppose with our previous childminder, it had all grown organically. It had gone from her doing 2 days a week, Connie doing 3 days a week, to her doing 3, Connie doing 2, and then to her doing the 5. Then when I made the decision to go on shift, she was a big part of that decision.
Yeah.
Could she do the shift work? She could. That was the deciding factor in me doing it. Like, it was all part of the thing.
And it was all small steps over the 6 years.
Yes.
And because of that, it just worked perfectly for us.
Yeah.
And then when Sam left, then we were kind of like, oh my God, how are we going to find someone to fit the jigsaw of our life? And we tried for a small while, and it soon became apparent that we're not going to find the fit for us.
Yes, yeah.
So we had to make the decision, or you had to ultimately make the decision of taking leave from your work, and we got that. What did we get? Carers leave. It was a carers leave for Harv, which is, how much is carers leave? 200?
230 or something.
230 euros a week, which is so needed and so appreciated. Thank you, universe. Thank you, government. Thank you for that. That's great to have that. But like, you know, it's a far cry from the fucking
wage.
120 or 30 grand a year that was coming in, you know? And yeah. So
but it gave us an opportunity as well, because this is, I suppose I'm on a leave from work, so I've got 2 years out from work with a position available when I go back. So that's slightly different to, you're not leaving work, you still have some of the perks from work, and
yes, we have healthcare, for example, which is fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm still part of the company, like.
And you're still very much part of the company, and you know, in 2 years' time, you know, who knows what will happen?
Yes,
you know,
in a year and a half now.
Or a year and a half.
So we're 6 months in.
Yeah, and here we are, and this brings us, so that's giving you just an update. There's a few people watching here. We're getting a lot of likes on TikTok. Geez, we nearly have 761 likes. Jesus. And a couple of likes coming in there now as well. Thanks for the likes.
I think TikTok is just nuts. But anyway, back to our podcast.
Yeah. I love that we're doing this now, because I have never seen anyone do this. I'm going to be watching now other fucking podcasters to see if they're copying us.
Well,
don't be copying us.
Maybe we'll like explode the market. It was like, I was talking to Dan the last day, you know, and he was on about Dan works with Con. He's the manager in the Cocoa Club, and
he's my support act. He's absolutely hilarious. He's
and
a comedian first and foremost. Dan Lucas, the only funny German. Follow him.
So when he was like 11, he had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But Dan, so that's about, what, Dan is 25 or something, so that's 14 years ago or thereabouts. And he was like, but then once I hit 13, I deleted it all. And then he went, I think I'd be a millionaire if I'd have kept it now. Because imagine, back then there wasn't a lot of kids doing YouTube. He probably was doing it, he's very techie. Yeah. So he's probably doing it just before it blew up. And that's where people...
This is the thing. This is the thing, right? In this fucking fucked, strange, ever-evolving world, you just have to... What's wrong with my hair? I'm looking at my hair now.
Well, it was, but...
I'm on TikTok now, so I have to have... Oh! We've 1,200 likes. That went up there. That's unbelievable. This isn't going to turn into how many likes we have now, but I am just fascinated to see how this is going today. But anyway, yeah. What was I saying? I don't know. I lost there now.
Oh, you were saying how in this world, and especially in the entertainment industry, you have to be ahead of the game nearly. If you want to, well, not maybe just anything that you need social media for.
But it's gas. Like I see people, right? Like I look at, we'll say like Chris, for example. Chris is on all the platforms, on all Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or X as it's called now, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. He's on them all, and he'll post up something, and he'll get it across all the platforms. And sometimes it'll go well on one platform, sometimes it'll go well. But actually with Chris, they generally go well on all, because his content is amazing. But then I see other creators out there, or other comedians out there, and they'll focus heavily on one platform, like, you know, and but they'll find success. So it doesn't, like, it's really strange the way it works. Is like, I suppose if we look at Bernard Casey's a good example, right? Bernard Casey's huge on Facebook, right? And if you talk to him, he'll be like, "Oh, I get most of my fans come from Facebook and stuff like that." No, he's on the other platforms.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's amazing. Like one particular platform, you can make it for you.
Yes,
and then you'll transition onto another platform, and you can often bring some of your, I suppose, fans onto those platforms then as well.
Yeah.
But I think it is very important to not to be just to go, "Oh, no, I'm grand. I'm very big on Twitter. I'll stay on Twitter." Do you know that kind of way? Or I'm very big. Like I
don't know. Like if you have your group and you have your people on, why would you try and be on everything then?
I think it's personally. I think it's to get out there on
across
this is on all platforms as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Until you get your group, I suppose. Until you get your posse, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to hold tough here now, and I'm not going to be as mad on it. But the reason that we're going live on TikTok today is because I saw this thing by Gary Vee, right? Who's one of these guys who's always talking about content creators.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you need to be on it all the fucking time. All the time, and if you think you're not, if you think you're on it too much, you're not on it half enough.
Yeah.
And like, do I want to live my life that way? I don't.
No,
I don't. Like,
you just have to make it huge, and then you won't have to. I guess.
Yeah,
is
I
it?
don't want to be on fucking like. So what I'm trying to do now is like for example, lives on TikTok, right? I want to do them while I'm doing something else, so that I'm multitasking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if we're doing a podcast that's 45 minutes long, let's go live on TikTok at the same, nearly 2,000 likes there now. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
But I think you say you don't like doing it, but you're very natural at it then. Like, you know, you're...
but I suppose that's the old performing kind of racket. Like when you're up on stage, like you might be allergic to the gig all day. And then... you know, you're on stage and you're like, oh, what was I allergic for? This is amazing.
Yeah. But that's like anyone going to work, isn't it? If you're working in the evenings. Like even I always felt when I was working, even when I was waitressing in evenings, or if I'm on nights when I was working, and even now, if I'm in the Cocoa Club, I think about it all day. I'm not somebody who switches off and then thinks about work.
Same.
It's like it's part of you feel like you're working all day because and you're prepping for going to work. I mean, it's not like I didn't have to do anything, we'll say, on Saturday night before going to Cocoa. I had to go to Cocoa and go, like, get changed, obviously, and go to Cocoa. But you're still thinking about it all day on Saturday, like, about going. Whereas some people can go off and do loads of things on the day before they head in and then just land into their evening job if they're working an evening or whatever. And
how did you get on in Cocoa this weekend?
Very good. Yeah, it was a great night. It was really good fun. I wasn't looking forward to it. I didn't say that to you.
I could tell.
Could
all day long that you weren't looking forward to it. I could actually tell, but because obviously I was in my own head for my own thing.
Yeah,
that was
big
going
time.
on,
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, just don't even bring that up there now. Like,
yeah.
I could just tell that it was kind of, it was apprehensive and a little bit annoyed at you to drive up and go to Cocoa.
Yeah.
I've often been there, you know.
It's like it's because it's at a time. I suppose the rest of the time I'm winding down by then. Like my day is over, not over, but like once the kids go to bed, anything I do productive after they go to bed is a bonus. Like it's 8 o'clock when they're settled. So to be then only ramping up, it's different. Like, but no, it went really well, and we, tickets were shit for the evening show. So then they took a massive turn, and it turned out to be a great evening. So then it made it even more.
I think that was another thing as well that would have, because that happens to me when ticket sales are like, because I'd be watching tickets, like for example now the late show, we have 2 shows on a Saturday. We've one at 7 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock, and the early show was selling reasonably well. I mean,
pretty good for an early show.
Yeah,
that's
very
only
good.
A bonus
and
slot, really.
And it is, and like the early show is great. It's a power hour show. It's a great show if people want to come in, have something to eat, and go out or come in, catch a show and then go for something to eat, or catch a show and go for a drink. It's great for dates, that kind of racket, and that was selling well. But when I was leaving the house here, there was 4 tickets sold for the late show, and Aideen McQueen was coming down from Dublin, and she's an incredible comedian.
She's brilliant.
She's so good. And I was like, as I said to Dan in the car, I was like, I just feel bad when we can't get a crowd for, you know,
a comedian.
for
Yeah,
great
that's
comedians,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, bang, 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 tickets started to sell, and we've great Coco regulars. Like I know Sarah was in now on Saturday night, she's a regular, but we've got about maybe 25, 30 regulars who kind of over the space of 6 to 8 weeks will come in once or twice, and if they've got friends down, they'll always bring friends in. So we got great regulars, and we always have walk-ins. And long story short, both shows were very well attended.
Yeah. And it was like the second show, even before the first show had finished, the second show still only had not a big amount of tickets sold. So like we offered tickets to the first show, and like to the first show crowd to come to the second show, and 4 of them came. So suddenly, the second show had over 50 people, like from 4 during the day and 10 at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
The show, the doors opened at 8:30, and there was people queuing up to come in. I was like, what? Where did this come? So it gave it an extra buzz, because you really appreciated the crowd then.
Yeah.
Like it was like, wow. And even in fairness, the residents, like when they heard the ticket numbers were only at 10 at the end of the first show, they went out flyering.
I want to fucking shout out to the residents, the likes of Harry Hussey, Ciara Barnes, Dave Horgan, Dan Lucas was with me.
Yeah.
You know.
And the 3 lads really, they really
hustled.
stepped up, like,
Yeah, and they're great. Like there's a WhatsApp group, and like I got onto Dan on Saturday morning. I was like, we need to hustle hard today. He put it into the WhatsApp group, and like he said, you don't have to worry. They will hustle. They're a great group. They're a great group of lads.
And
I have to say.
They really like ran the show on Saturday. Like they had the lighting, they did it all between themselves. Like, and I did the door and met the acts coming in and met the people coming in and that kind of thing. But you're
giving out the stage times and taking the cash and checking people in.
Yeah, but they were they did the sound and the lighting and everything.
And this is what we're saying. Like this was a goal when you decided to leave. This what was happening now was a goal, that we were able to get the Coco Club to a level that, you know, we had great regulars that are able to host, that are able to middle, that are able to close, and we have that. Like Ciara now, they were the host on the Late Show.
Yeah,
and
they were.
Like, I took Ciara on as a resident, I think it was around this time last year, and at that stage they had 5 minutes. That's what they had. Do you know what I mean? And they were the whole thing was that they wanted to get up to 10 minutes and start entering competitions. And now they're hosting late shows. Harry has been on Saturday shows countless times. Yeah. You know, Dave is pretty much running Kingdom with Dan during the summer. He's unbelievable techie, and he's getting better and better every time I see him. So it's
it was great. It was a really successful night.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, speaking of success, why, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, was I required in the Coco Club? Where were yourself and Daniel Lucas at?
Right. So I had my very first tour show ever. Yay!
And the crowd goes wild, as you'd say yourself.
Yeah, so my tour began. A bird in the
buzzing
hand.
Buzzing.
I'll tell you, babe. You saw me now on Sunday. Like I was like a fella that had just the cat.
It was Wembley.
The cat. Like first of all, right when I this time last year we're talking about goal setting, right, and we're talking about fads there a couple of weeks ago, and we're setting ourselves some lofty goals, and we're going to try. And if we don't hit all the goals that we go for, we'll enjoy the journey along the way. Goals are just lists of things for us to aim for, you know, and and we'll try. And that's what the Everyman was last year. I was like really trying to get the Everyman.
Yeah.
Really, it was like I remember during lockdown talking to a comedian, and it was one of the most enlightening conversations I had, but it wasn't supposed to be enlightening. I only kind of, coming away from it, was thinking about points that were brought up in the conversation, and the person had said that everybody, any comedian worth their salt, gets a solo show in the Everyman.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And And it stuck in me, and I was like, you know, it's not it. Like, you know, you can't just rock up and go put me on there. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've done nearly audition.
So I was lucky enough that, like, you know, really sound people, Laura O'Mahony, for example, and she listens to this podcast.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura. Thank you. And listen to her podcast, Red Raw. It's a brilliant podcast. But Laura asked me to open up for her in front of her audience at her Everyman gig around this time. No, it wasn't. It was around November. It was before the Improv Panto. And I remember going out and having a great gig.
Yeah.
You know, and going, fuck it, I think I could do it here. And I had mentioned it to Naomi in the Everyman at the time. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, we'll talk about it. But as you said, audition. She had to see, you know, and she was floating around. I also opened for Chris around that time. And I opened for Julie J at that time in the Everyman. So I was in there 3 times, 3 different audiences, and I did well every time. And then to get that was, you know, when Naomi said, yeah, come on, we're going to give you a date. We'll give you a Saturday.
It seemed so far away, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't it? When did you get it?
It was around, I think I had it actually at Christmas last year. I think I actually...
because it wasn't...
I knew it going into the improv last, that I had got it. I just hadn't announced it because we wanted to announce it properly. We wanted to, you know, there's a lot of noise at Christmas.
Yeah, you have to wait. We wait for the... you're kind of waiting for the next publication of their book, or isn't it? There's a launch and all of that.
We had to wait until, because she was putting it into the winter special, so we had to wait till September last year, which is only a few months ago, right, to announce it publicly. But you and I knew.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, a few of my friends knew, and, like, you know, comedians knew. Some comedians knew that I was going to be doing it, like, you know, but, like, the public didn't know.
Yeah.
But
I remember thinking that it's so far away, because obviously that was 2022 and it's going to be January 24, like.
Yeah.
Do you know?
That's true. Yeah, like 2 calendar years, kind of like.
But we were only saying it's like the wedding. You're looking forward to it.
It is so like the wedding.
But you've been planning with it for ages. You can't wait to just get there.
But this is the thing, though. So, because I'm opening for Chris will be like, that's great now that you have that. Build a tour around it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I was like, no, like nobody knows me in Limerick. I've done 1 gig in Limerick since the pandemic. He said, it doesn't matter. Do it. And I'm like, no, do it. And then I'm like, I can't say no. Do you know, I can't, like I was saying no to him, but then in my head I was like, you can't say no. Like, this man has done exactly.
Yeah, he's telling you what to do, like, and he's giving you advice. You cannot not try it.
And he's done. He has done this, and he was like, what? And then he said, I remember him saying, my first tour 8 dates. I had 8 dates in my first tour, and I had to cancel 2 of those dates, so I only had 6 to the show. That's the worst thing that'll happen to you.
Yeah, you
and he goes,
the gig.
none of the shows were busy except for the Cork shows. You know?
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm from Cork. Of course they're going to be busy. And I was like, so you have to do it. Do Dolan's. And I was like, no. Yeah. So then we send a message to Dolan's, and they didn't get back to us. And then I was opening for Chris, and Chris went up to Neil in front of me, and Mick Dolan, the guy who owns the place. This is my sport act, Cornelius. He's brilliant. He sent you an email there. he wants to open up here. You should definitely get him. He's brilliant. And then they got back to me. Yeah, we'll do it. You know, and so I was shitting it. I was like, who's going to fucking come to Dolan's? Like, don't worry about it. Do the Casbah. That's only an 80-seater. I said, like, nobody fucking knows. 80 people is ridiculous, man. But you'll be doing 4 shows for me, and you do a bit of promo. And then that was grand. I got my head around Dolan's, and then we were doing Clears in Kilkenny, a 70-seater. And I walked in on him, having a conversation with Johnny. This is Cornelius. He's brilliant. Book him here now for my book him here. And I left that place with. That was my first son. And so basically, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, make the list, do the plan, whatever you're doing. If you're a comedian or whatever, just make the list and have the goal and just do it. And if the worst case, as Chris kept saying, the worst case is you just have to cancel it. And he's right. He's so right.
And nobody knows if you cancelled it or not anyway.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like, if you cancel it. Who cares? You tried.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You tried. Like, if you're going to be upset about it, you know, I just think there's dignity in failure sometimes if you've tried.
You have to try it, yeah. And this is it. Like, I mean, you've this these dates have been in the books with ages.
With ages.
And you just have to go and focus on it and try it and sell it if you can. And how did it sell, Cornelius?
So it sold out.
Woohoo!
Yeah, which was incredible. And like we send a message in before Christmas for ticket sales, and they send us back and they said there's 28 gone.
So there's 28 before Christmas.
There was 28 gone before Christmas, and I was thinking to myself, that's
a gig anyway.
That's exactly what I thought. And I was like, thank you more, please. Thank you so much, universe. This is amazing. 28 people are coming to see me in Limerick. I fucking couldn't believe it. And I was like, sure, Jesus, we might get that up now to, that might go to 30 or 40, or we'll definitely go to 30, but, it might go to 40 or maybe even 50. And in my wildest imagination.
And you probably hadn't said 50 to me at all. You probably had said 40.
Yeah.
Just so that you had your inner.
That's exactly what I did.
Inner.
But I was doing my affirmations, babe, and I was visualising it being sold out, and I worked hard to sell it out. I made videos specifically for Limerick. I went up last week I was on Live 95, which is their 96 FM kind of, their Neil Prendeville kind of a show, and you got me that. So this is the goal setting, and like you're coming on board. You're acting as my PR, so you got me.
I represent Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan.
Call a spade, like, I mean, you literally I would not have got that. You got me that, and we had got an update on the tickets before I went to it, right? Mm-hmm. And we were emailing two different people, Mary Rose and Neil, both work inside there. And Mary Rose came back to us with an update before I did the interview, and then Neil came back to us with an update after the interview, and the interview sold, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 tickets.
Yeah.
And I knew...
Well, yeah, that many tickets sold in that time frame anyway.
And going into Saturday, I knew that there was 60... Going on to the gig on Saturday, I knew there was 62 tickets gone and the capacity was 80. And I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
This is insane. Like, I am so fucking blown away by this.
Because you had your whip on Wednesday, your work in progress show on the Wednesday beforehand. So you knew that your show was ready. You just needed the audience.
I just needed the audience. And the last whip I did in Coco on Wednesday was great because we do free unannounced whips, right? So whip stands for work in progress. So the audience do not know who you are. They're coming in, they're sitting down. They're also in there, they're usually tourists. It's freebie, it's free to get in. You just have to buy an online ticket and scan your ticket, but it's free to come in. They can leave donations if they want to. But like having to get an audience that doesn't know you and usually are kind of, international audiences, English-speaking international audiences, trying to get them to relate to my stand-up, which is like this show is about, it's about a midlife crisis, it's about cannabis, it's about alcohol, it's about our kids, it's about our marriage, it's about... Yeah, it's just about life, but it's an Irish specific life.
Yeah, there's parts, there's puns in it which are very Irish, like.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's not all, like. There's enough to entertain everyone, but there's some funny parts that are Irish isms or
Irishisms.
Orgasms. Right, okay.
But yeah, so when you're doing it in front of we'll say, an audience that don't know you on a wet Wednesday night, and it goes okay, you're going to be confident, and mine went okay. I was happy enough with it. They didn't fucking break their arse laughing, but they laughed at the right places. And for a finish, I got through the whole lot. And then, on Saturday, then I woke up and I just I knew there was 62 gone. And then
you didn't stop shitting all day.
I did about 5 shits. Jesus Christ Almighty! There was stuff coming out of me that I ate. There was meat coming out of me from 7 years ago before I was.
You're ready for a colonoscopy, I'd say.
I am. Some sort of a bottom job, but I collected Dan off the train, and we drove down, and we got there, and I felt like they just looked after me so well.
And how did you feel? The talent.
The talent.
Yeah.
We were walking through, and there was another gig on, and a bouncer was like, "Sorry, there, and just bringing the talent through." I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
the talent,
yeah.
And we had our own dressing room, and they had all little small details. Like we had our own sound man. He was coming up to us and giving us ETAs, sound check, and it's an iconic venue as well, Dolan's. Yeah. It's an iconic venue, and it was just. And then, so Dan went on, he smashed it, and as he went, I went to the back of the room. Right, when he was doing the warm up in the first half, and just to watch him, And I went to the girl, and it was all full, like all the seats were gone. And I went to the girl, I says, is everybody in? And she had a look at her thing and she goes, no, there's 18 more to come. We've had loads of walk-ins. And I was like, there's no room for them, like. So they did the squash in at the back, like, and fucking, there was people standing, like.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I went out and I did it. And I big thing that I was trying to do was I was trying to be present in the moment. So I had done some meditating earlier in the day, was doing the Wim Hof breathing, I was, doing my affirmations, and even when Dan was on, I watched him, but then for the last maybe 5-6 minutes of his gig, I went away and just tried to get into my head.
Yeah, I was just about to say there, actually, because your work is so much in your head, like as in you have to work a lot on your head to be prepared and mentally prepared as well as physically prepared, but there's a lot of your inner thoughts that you have to get right before you go on stage. It's like we watched the Robbie Williams documentary, and you just see him, the pacing, there's all this kind of mental prep that goes on being an artist, like. And I think that, like, I had no phone, so on Saturday I needed a phone for Coco Club because it had all the Eventbrite and the Sum Up and all those apps on it. So I took Con's phone. So I had Dan texting me photos for Con's Instagram. So I took over Con's Instagram on Saturday. And but like there was one that got me, which was the one that had your name on the door. And like, I suppose you've done huge gigs, and I think this is the thing that people don't understand maybe, and I 100% wouldn't get it if I hadn't married someone in the arts or you are a comedian, do you know? But like there's so many different levels that like Connie you've played in the Opera House, you've sold out the Opera House with the Improv, but that was part of a group. You've performed in the Opera House, you've performed in the Everyman, you've performed all over Ireland and all over Europe, but it's either been in a group or as a support act, whereas this was you going to a dressing room and your name was on the door. Like that's a big step, like, really, isn't it? Like it's cool, like, isn't it?
Oh, it was very cool, very, very cool, and not before time. Do you know what I mean? What took me so long is what I had to say it to myself.
As Chris Ken said, what's the opposite of imposter syndrome? Yeah, and I think you need that, though. You need that to go, no, I'm going to make it. I have the talent. I'm going to put the effort in, and I am going to strive
it's the concerted, conscientious effort that for me anyway, I have to have, and it brings it right back to the goals.
Yeah.
If you have a goal and you hold yourself accountable to that goal, and you have a kind of an end date in sight for it, and that's what we're doing now after this podcast. That's what we're going to do today. We're setting our goals. We have our health goals. We have our fitness goals, and we're going to do our kind of like our, not Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan goals, but our like our O'Sullivan household goal.
Business
goal. And
it's a mouthful.
It is. We'll have to come up with an acronym for it.
Yeah.
But like that's what it was, and it felt. I honestly, do you know, sometimes you can get overwhelmed. You're right. I've been very lucky. I've done stand up in the Opera House. I opened for Ross Brown. I opened for the Rubber Bandits there. I've been there for years with the Improv. And as you said, like all full houses, you know, every man with Laura O'Mahony, and I was, you know, in every big venue up and down the country with Chris, Mandela Hall in Belfast, you know, 1,000 people, 2,500 people in Vickers Street, every big hall or venue in every small town in Ireland. I've done it in capacity of support, and you know, and I love that, and I'm so thankful for all that work.
I'm grateful, that's
so grateful for it, and it's made me a better comedian watching these other comedians and learning from these other comedians, you know, like watching their style and seeing how, you know, I might be inspired and getting inspired and writing, you know, writing more because I'm more inspired, you know, that kind of way, and, you know, loving it.
I think that, like, in other industries, the path is very clear to success.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, like, if you want to progress, you can. You do your manager course, or you do your next level of exams, or you do this set of training, and then you have that qualification to apply for the next level of the job. Like, as far as I know, that's In a lot of industries, that's how you progress. Whereas in the arts, it's you never really know when your interview is on. Like,
Yeah.
do you know?
Well,
like,
it's very funny actually. It's like first of all, you have to have the fucking talent. I mean, like there's other like.
But that's not enough. Like,
it isn't enough. No, it isn't enough. If you look at Tommy Tiernan is a great example of it. Like Tommy Tiernan has talent coming out of his urine every day. He's got so much talent, right? He is unbelievably amazing on stage. He's a brilliant actor. He's a brilliant podcaster. He's a brilliant. His TV show is amazing. He's unbelievable. But Tommy Tiernan has worked tirelessly for years. Like the Unbelievables did years ago. The Unbelievables still have unbelievable careers individually, based on their work that they did earlier in their career.
Yeah.
You know, but Tommy is a good example from a stand-up point of view. Like I was gigging back in Charleville there not that long ago in the Schoolyard Theatre, and there's posters of Tommy there back in 1992, fresh-faced, and he was bringing a show to Charleville.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what you have to do as a comic. There are the levels there. You have to get the levels. I definitely agree with that. But I think once you kind of get to the stage of touring your own show, and if you're able to, you know, write a new show every 2 years, 2.5 years, and bring it on tour, you know, it's up to you then, I think, you know, like
if it's good enough, it's up to you. Is that
yeah,
kind of thing
I think it is. I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent, but I think, you know, you have to get, I suppose, look, you start off as an open micer, and then you build your first 5, and then you get your first 10, then you get your first 20, and that's your goal when you're starting off as a comedian.
Yeah.
And then you've got 20 minutes, and then if you're lucky, you might get signed by an agent. But if you're not, I never got signed by an agent. So when you get signed by an agent, it definitely helps you. They're able to get you onto festivals.
Yeah.
And then when you're onto festivals, you're mainstream, and you know
more people are seeing you.
More people are seeing you at mainstream events.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't get signed by an agent, it's difficult to get booked on festivals. You have to hustle. Last year, I got onto the Paddy Power Festival. I've got onto the Cat Laughs Festival. That's through my own hustle. But other festivals like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, people think, oh wow, he did the Edinburgh Fringe.
Anyone can do that, yeah.
And you could go to the Edinburgh Fringe.
I could go myself.
You could go to the Fringe, Noel, and you could call your show "Drinking a Glass of Water," and you could fill your glass. And throughout the hour, just drink your thing. And when it's finished, just stand up and take a bow. People will come. People will come to that show, right? And I swear to God. And like, so that's how easy it is to get into the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. You know, there's 3,000 shows there a day. I've done it twice. I brought my own. I did a compilation show, and I did my own show for the Family Guy. And all it did for me was it made me better on stage because I got to gig more
all
regularly.
The time, yeah.
All the time.
I suppose what's difficult in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is to make money, and you can go and make money if you're incredible.
Exactly, yeah, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's like just going back to it. I did the show on the night anyway, and it felt great. And I was talking to people afterwards, and I was shaking hands, and I just was coming home, and I just felt really, really, because stand-up is fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's lonely.
Nice to have the moments.
Yeah, and the moments are rare, and it was nice to share it with Dan as well, and I felt I didn't have my phone, so I felt in the moment.
Yeah.
Since I left when I left the house at 4:00, I had no phone, and I think I'm going to do that with the Everyman. I'm going to hand you my phone at about 2:00 and say, just keep that away from me, because I was in the moment, and I felt present. I didn't feel like I was an imposter. At the end of the day, calling a spade now, we're talking about 80 people in the small room in Limerick.
But I think everything is relevant.
I think everything is relevant. And for me, that was Michael McIntyre selling out an O2 arena.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
And
everything is
like
just the same as anyone in a business, and you have to stand up and talk in front of people for the first time, or give a presentation, or go into a new team meeting like that with a higher level of managers. Everything is as big as the next thing, just things change, but like they feel the same. Like as you get bigger and bigger, it's as each one was as important, like each stage.
Yeah,
each
and
step.
I seen that even with Chris. Like Chris, he's going to venues now, and he's like reminiscing with the owners. Remember when I was only getting 40 or 50 or 60 people in, to like 80-seaters and up in Kildare and
and he's actually all over the country.
And he's selling out now all over. He's selling out all over. Like hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. How'd you get to Carnegie Hall? Hard work. That's the old saying. And I'm fucking so happy now where I'm at. And I'm so happy that you're on board and that we're doing it together. Yeah. And that it's a real team effort.
And it is definitely different this year. It's kind of, I suppose we're kind of half reflecting back as we head into the new year, that this year it is us and the plan and what the goals are for the house, more so than two separate routes of me and work and you here with your goals, and then the goal of the kids kind of separate, whereas it's all intertwined now. Like we've Hunter going to he's going to after preschool care now 2 days a week for like 2.5 hours each day, and it's not in the whole scheme of the whole week, it's nothing, but it's huge for the house. It's huge for you and I here to be able to do the podcasts on the Monday without rushing. Right now, what time is it? 26 minutes. We'd have to finish 2 minutes ago. Yeah. 100% be finished, and then Hunter's home and you're either trying to entertain him as we plan for the week ahead or whatnot.
Whereas, and this is the thing, this is the other side of it as well. Like I think we had a lovely day yesterday. No, we went out to Doneraile Park with the kids and
went for a walk and then the park.
But I was ready to throw them out the back door for a finish.
But everyone was. It was so funny. I think it's really important to take a moment when you're in those kind of areas with your kids and you are frustrated. And it was really busy around though. I've never seen Doneraile Park so busy as it was yesterday. But you look around and everyone is in the same boat. Yeah. Like there was a fella that his kid, the child was only about 2, but there was a scooter. She had a little scooter and it had a lovely little handle at the back. But by Christ, she didn't want him to have it. She wanted the handle taken off, and so that she could scooter herself. And I saw him, like just he was
blocking up the
path.
The path.
So Connie I could see Connie was going, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he standing there? And all I could see was the sheer frustration that was on his face, and he took a deep breath, eyes up to like he literally was looking nearly for divine inspiration to not throw the child into the river, and I could and I just started laughing, and I was like, we've all there, we've all been there. And he ended up having to take the handlebar thing off, and she then nearly stumbling, and they'll probably get about 5 meters up the road, and then there'll be 3 moments of beauty, and it'll have saved the day.
Yeah, and it's that's the thing as well that I've noticed since you're off, right? Is I think we're spending great time with the kids. I actually do think we're spending really, really good time, conscious time with the kids. I'm definitely playing with the kids way more when you're off.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, just doing stuff with them. I feel, even though we're quite busy and it's all about compartmentalizing as well. We're sitting down, we're the amount of family meals that we're having. Is off the charts. Like proper everyday family we're sitting down and we're having.
The kids will still be probably having pasta or pesto pasta with some stuff, but they won't be probably eating what's in front of us. But we're sitting together.
We are sitting together, but I'll push back a small bit on that now. I actually think you're incredible. You'll make something and you'll put it up. They may not eat it, but it's given to them, or it's presented to them, and the option is there. And every now and then, I don't know, you might make something like a fake and kidney pie or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Hunter'll
take a kidney bean, and the next thing, and we're like, shut up, say nothing, and we're fucking elated. Because he's eating a kidney bean. Yeah. That's the W for the day. And then Harvey might do something similar, and that's what the fuck. And just the conversations, the crack we get out of them. I've never been more this is, I don't know what kind of a podcast this is going to sound like, right? But I'm fucking happy in my life is what I'm trying to say.
I think we're pretty happy this morning, Cornelius, Patrick. I think that's the vibe, isn't it?
And it's up and down. Like, it's up and down, and it's changing, and that's the way things are. That's the fucking way it is. You'll be on one road, and the next thing, something will come, and you'll have to hop onto that road. But I don't know.
And the kids adapt as well. Like, they have totally adapted, those boys, to, like, not having disposable income. Haven't they?
Well, that's another fucking great thing. Your phone dying is...
but that's separate. That's different.
But it is and it isn't, because it's... They would take your phone to play the video games, and then the phone died, so they couldn't be on... They weren't on the phone as much, and it was... straight away it was bringing time back into play, and the stuff that they're playing with now is their toys. It's like
that has definitely been that's separate to them getting used to no disposable income. I'm talking less disposable income. I'm talking they've gotten used to not getting magazines at the shop every time they go. Oh, they got one last week, but that was their wages.
That was their wages,
and there was a big discussion, and they knew that before they got to the shop.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, Hunter was with you in the shop, and he asked, "Can I please go look at the magazines? I won't buy one." Like, that we would have, our resolve would have gone before. Like
100%. And this is the thing that money did, right? First of all, kids don't give a fuck about money. They just want your time, don't they? Like, they really do. Like, ultimately,
they do.
Now, they still like their shiny things, and they like their Paw Patrol stuff, but like, absolutely, if that scenario had happened last year before you had gone to work and I was inside with Hunter, and if he was looking at the magazines, I would have bought him a magazine there and then, and I would have bought one home for Hunter as well, and I would have got maybe 15 or 16 euro worth of shit for us. A bottle of wine, bottle of Diet Coke, big dirty bag of potatoes, and a bit of chocolate, and I'd have spent 30 odd quid like off the top of my head. And it's not that we're tight now or anything like that, but it's just like conscious buying, like the unconscious waste that we were responsible for was massive. Like and it's interesting to try and track that now and to watch that as well.
And I think as we grow, it's important to keep that in our, because I don't want, because we still never had, we had a lot of money coming in, but we had a huge amount of going out, and a lot of times we didn't have anything to show for it. I want us to start, as money comes in, that we have stuff to show for it. It's saved, it's put towards buying such and such, it's put, that it's conscious spending more so than just frivolous spending on shit, basically.
Like
whatever forms of shit. Magazines that last no time. Like
the magazines that they got now at the weekend, in fairness now, I did a bit of reading with Harvey with it yesterday.
Yeah, and he's reading it away. Oh, he's looking at it and reading it.
Hunter's,
it was playing with the camera.
Yeah, the camera that came with it. We could have bought him a little camera. We may as well just cut that €7 and fucking use it to light that fire. You know? But there was a load of those €7 last year.
Yeah,
there was so many more. And with that, it was, as you said, they were on about a magazine, and we were like, okay, look, they get their wages every week, and they didn't get any wages for the last 3 weeks because it's only when they remember it that we give it to them. And so we were like, okay, we can get you the magazine so this week. And it was a big deal made out of it, and they felt that they paid for it themselves.
Yeah.
And they're little things that before they'd have no response. It's just getting used to money as a child. Like when I was growing up.
Value it.
Understand it. Learn about it. Oh yeah, money doesn't grow on trees. Oh, like, do you know, that kind of way? You have to earn it and stuff like that. And I don't know. Sure, look, listen, aren't we perfect?
Aren't we just perfect today?
I think we're absolutely perfect. But yeah, I think we might wrap it up. I want to say thank you to everyone who's listening. I'm so delighted that we got some new patrons last week, or a new patron last week. And if you want to listen to the patron, the link is in the description. We've gone live on TikTok. We got 3,300 likes for a finish.
Jesus Christ, that's craziness.
Which is amazing. And we're going to be bringing this podcast on to YouTube very, very soon, and we're going to be opening up socials specific to this podcast also very, very soon. I just want to say thank you so much for listening as always.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Like
and share.
Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. Did you listen to that? It's a great podcast. It's the only podcast I listen to. Conversations with Cornelius. We love it. It's amazing. Fantastic. Good night. God bless. Stay in by the wall. Stay in by the wall. Stay in by the wall. Stay in by the wall.